Back in 1969, the United Kingdom was preparing for something huge called decimalisation. Before that time, money in Britain was based on the old system where £1 equaled 240 pence. The system was complicated and confusing, so the government decided to modernise it. The new plan was that £1 would equal 100 new pence. To help people get used to it, the Royal Mint released the first new decimal coin, the 50 new pence coin, in October 1969. It replaced the 10-shilling banknote, and it was a big deal because it was the first time people saw the new decimal currency in action. The coin was large, made of copper nickel, and had a unique 7-sided shape so people could easily tell it apart from other coins. The coin featured the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side, designed by Arnold Machin, and on the other side it showed the image of Britannia sitting beside a lion, holding a trident and olive branch, a classic symbol of Britain's strength and peace. The words, "New Pence," were written below Britannia, reminding people that this was the new money system. The design was created by Christopher Ironside, and it became one of the most iconic British coin designs of all time. Now, here's where the story takes a turn. The Royal Mint produced an enormous number of these coins in 1969, about 188 million of them. That's a huge mintage, which means the coin was very common in circulation. Because of that, most of the 1969 50 pence coins you find today are not rare. If you find one that's been in someone's pocket or purse for years, it's usually worth around its face value 50 pence, maybe £1 or £2 if it's in decent condition. So how do we get from that to coins selling for hundreds or thousands? The answer lies in condition, errors, and special versions. When collectors talk about coin value, the first thing they look at is condition. A coin that's been circulated, meaning it has scratches, wear, and marks, is worth much less than one that's uncirculated. An uncirculated coin is one that looks brand new, with shiny surfaces and no wear at all. The best quality coins, called mint state or proof coins, can sell for much higher prices. A perfect proof 50 pence from 1969, one that's never been handled and kept in a presentation set, could be worth between £10 and £15 today, sometimes more if it's been graded by a professional grading company. The second thing collectors love to find is an error coin. Error coins are mistakes made during minting. Maybe the design is slightly off-center, maybe part of the wording is missing, or maybe the metal was struck twice. These kinds of errors are very rare, and that's where the real money can come in. A serious minting error can transform a normal 50 pence piece into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds, depending on how unusual the error is and how much collectors want it. If you think you have one like that, it's worth checking with a professional coin dealer or getting it authenticated and graded. Another point that makes this coin interesting is the "new pence" wording. In later years, after decimalisation had become normal, the Royal Mint changed the wording to just say 50 pence instead of new pence. This means that any coin still carrying the new pence wording, like the 1969 version, stands out as part of the early decimal era. It's a nostalgic coin and a symbol of change, even if it's not extremely rare. Many people online have been excited about the idea that these old 50 pence coins could be worth thousands. You've probably seen posts or videos where someone claims their 1969 coin sold for a fortune. In reality, those prices are usually for different coins such as the 2009 Kew Gardens 50p, which really can fetch over £100 because only 200,000 were made. The 1969 coin had millions made, so unless yours is a proof or an error coin, it won't reach those dizzy heights. Still, it's a valuable piece of history and makes for a great collector's item. So, what should you look for if you have one? First, check the date. It should say 1969 under Queen Elizabeth II's portrait. Check that it says "new pence" and not 50 pence. Next, look at the condition. If it shines like new and shows no signs of wear, that's a good start. Then, look for anything strange: misaligned edges, missing letters, double images, or odd colors. These could signal a minting error. If your coin looks perfect or unusual, consider taking it to a coin shop or having it graded by an expert like NGC or PCGS. Even if it turns out to be common, it's still a neat find and worth keeping. It's also worth noting that these large 50-pence coins were taken out of circulation in the late 1990s. In 1997 the Royal Mint made a smaller version of the 50 pence, the one we use today. The old large coins were withdrawn and stopped being legal tender in 1998. That means if you still have one, it's a little piece of the past, a design and shape that's no longer used. Now here's the crazy part. Some of these quarters have special mistakes called mint errors, and collectors are willing to pay huge money for them. We're talking about $155,000 to even $200,000 for the rarest ones. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true, these coins can be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. The story of this coin starts back in 1976, when the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Instead of the normal eagle on the back, they created a special design with a colonial drummer and the dates 1776 to 1976. The Mint made hundreds of millions of these coins in both Philadelphia and Denver. That's what the little D means, Denver Mint. Most of them were made from a mix of copper and nickel, and they were used in everyday shopping. So at first glance, they look totally normal. But once in a while, the minting machines made mistakes, and those mistakes are where the big money is. One of the most famous types of mistakes is called a double die. This happens when the coin's design is pressed twice, but not exactly in the same spot. The result is letters or numbers that look like they have a shadow or second layer. On the 1976 Bicentennial Quarter, if you see this doubling on the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the numbers in the date, you might have something rare. Even small doubling can raise the value, but a strong double die could make your coin worth thousands, or if it's in perfect mint condition, maybe a lot more. Another valuable error is called an off-center strike. That means the coin was hit by the press a little off target, so the design is shifted, and part of it might be missing. The more off-center it is while still showing the date, the more valuable it can be. Some of these off-center bicentennial quarters have sold for over $10,000, depending on how dramatic the error looks. There are also clipped planchet errors, where a small piece of the coin's edge is missing. These can also bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars if they're rare and in good shape. Now here's the wildest kind of error: a wrong metal or wrong planchet coin. Normally, the 1976 quarters were made with a copper core and a nickel coating. But sometimes, by accident, a blank piece of silver metal meant for a proof coin was used instead. A regular coin struck on silver by mistake can be worth a fortune, especially if it's verified by a professional grading company. There are stories of these wrong planchet bicentennial quarters selling for huge prices, because they're basically one-of-a-kind mistakes. So, how can you tell if your coin is special? Start with the basics. Look for the D mint mark, that means it was made in Denver. Then look closely at the letters and numbers for any doubling. Check if the coin looks off-center or if any part of the edge is missing. You can also check the color of the edge. If you see copper, it's the normal type, but if it looks silver all the way around, you might want to test it for silver content. Don't clean or polish your coin, that can ruin its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and maybe use a soft cloth or gloves. If you think your coin might be special, the next step is to get it graded. There are professional companies like PCGS and NGC that can officially check your coin, confirm if it has a mint error, and give it a grade from 1 to 70. Coins that are in perfect or near perfect condition, grades above 65, can be worth a lot more money. A certified coin also sells faster because buyers trust it's real. You can even look up past auction sales of graded bicentennial quarters to see how much similar coins have sold for. Now, let's talk about the numbers everyone wants to hear. While most bicentennial quarters are worth only 25 cents, some rare ones, especially with big mint errors or made from silver, have sold for thousands. There are reports and claims online of certain 1976 error quarters being valued at over $155,000, $183,000, and even $200,000 depending on how rare and perfect they are. These prices might sound crazy, but collectors love unique coins. A one-of-a-kind mint mistake can sell for more than a luxury car if the right buyer wants it. It's important to know, though, that not every 1976 D quarter is worth that much. Millions of normal ones exist, and even most slightly scratched or worn ones are only worth face value. The high prices only happen when all the right things come together: a huge error, rare metal, and top-grade condition. But here's the fun part: you never know until you check. Every coin in a jar, wallet, or old collection could be a hidden treasure. Imagine finding one of these coins and realizing it could pay off your debt, buy a car, or even a small house. That's why collectors and treasure hunters love these stories. It's not just about money, it's the thrill of finding something rare that connects you to history. The Bicentennial Quarter celebrates the birth of the United States, so even without errors, it's a piece of that patriotic celebration. But when there's a mint mistake, it becomes a story, a moment when something went wrong at the mint, and now that small imperfection makes your coin incredibly valuable. If you ever find one that looks different, don't rush to sell it. Take good pictures, research it, and maybe show it to a coin expert or dealer. They can tell you if it's really rare. If it is, you could auction it through a trusted coin auction house or sell it privately to a collector. Some rare quarters have shocked everyone by selling for way more than anyone expected, simply because they were one of a kind. So next time you come across a 1976 quarter, take a closer look. Check for those odd details: doubling, off-center design, or silver shine. That small coin in your hand might not just be worth 25 cents, it could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. People have found treasures in their change before, and maybe you'll be the next one. The 1976 D Bicentennial Quarter is more than just a piece of metal. It's a tiny time capsule from America's 200th birthday, and for a lucky few, it's a jackpot waiting to be discovered. So grab your coins, get a magnifier, and start looking. Your next handful of change might just be worth more than you ever imagined.